There was a wallpaper in iOS 26 Beta 2 with the dimensions of 1260 by 2736. The unique thing about this is it does not match any of the current resolutions of iPhones. Neither iPhone 16, neither iPhone 16 Plus, neither iPhone 16 Pro or Pro Max. This means that Apple just leaked their new iPhone Air. We know that every year in September there are new phones coming. There's going to be an iPhone 17, a 17 Pro, and a 17 Pro Max, but there's going to be a unique change this year, and the Plus model is out, and Apple's changing it up a little bit. We are going to get a brand new iPhone, a brand new model, in fact. Just like when they changed from the 13 mini to the 14 Plus, this year we're going to get the 16 Plus cancelled, out, never to be released again. And we're gonna have a new iPhone 17 Air, which slots right in between the 17 and the 17 Pro. So it takes over the place of the iPhone 16 Plus. The interesting thing is that they're not going only for a bigger display. While it will be a bigger display, it will be a 6.6-inch display. This device will be uniquely thin, one of the thinnest iPhones Apple has ever made. 5.5 millimeters. To be exact, that's how thin it's going to be. It's going to be thinner than the new iPad Pro, the M4 iPad Pro, which is crazy thin already. Now, we see this from other manufacturers. Samsung just released not so long ago their super thin phone. The foldable market is super thin, and Apple is about to join. And it will lack a lot of features from the Pro models, but it will be a little bit better than the normal regular iPhone. Maybe Apple will not even introduce an iPhone 17 this year. It'll be maybe next year with iPhone 17e and iPhone 17, which is going to be weird because the basic iPhone is not going to be launched when the newest and greatest iPhones are being launched. That's a crazy concept, but there is some evidence to show that that might be the case because 4 models are not working for Apple. They might split it to 3 in fall and 2 in spring. Now, this new iPhone 17 Air will be a unique design. As I said, it's going to have a 6.6-inch display. It's going to have a significantly smaller battery because it's a lot thinner. So if it's thinner, something has to give, and that's the battery. Yeah, it's going to be 2,800 milliamps of battery with a weight, so the device is going to weigh only 148 grams. That is super light. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, smaller battery means worse battery life, and probably it will be a worse battery life. So you can put your hands together if you can finish a day with any charge left. But that is why Apple is actually working with case manufacturers, and they are creating their brand new battery case for the iPhone. Well, if you don't want to buy severely overpriced accessories for your iPhone, then check out bestiPhoneaccessories.com. You can find all the latest and greatest accessories for your iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple Watch, whatever Apple product you have on bestiPhoneaccessories.com. Apollo is actually selling a battery case, and it's fantastic. It connects to your phone via USB-C. You can charge the case wirelessly, and it charges your phone. So if you're at home and you put it on the charger, it'll charge your phone and it'll charge the case. So whenever you leave, you have basically 2 batteries in one device. 10,000 milliamps will get you through the whole day. I strongly recommend it. Check out bestiPhoneaccessories.com. The Air is truly a unique concept from Apple. They position it as a premium but not as powerful as a Pro model, but it's unique because it's super light, super thin, super everything. Just like when they announced the MacBook Air, it was better than the MacBook, not as good as the MacBook Pro, but it slid in there very nicely. It had a spot, and it became one of the most popular computers Apple is selling today. Apple will be doing this with the iPhones as well. Now, will they keep the 17? Who knows? Maybe it will not be called 17. They're renaming everything this year, so we have iOS 26. Maybe it's going to be called iPhone 26, or maybe it's going to be called iPhone, just flat out iPhone, iPhone Air, iPhone Pro with 2 different sizes. That could be an option too, but it's kind of hard to differentiate that way. So if you are thinking of getting an iPhone, then this year something new is coming for you. And this device, while it might not seem that impressive, it is going to be very unique and very recognizable if you own one of these devices. In terms of tech, you'll have a 2800 milliamp battery, as I said. 148 grams, it's very small. The screen is going to be a very similar size to the Plus model, as I said, 6.6 inches. And the caveat of the whole thing is it's only going to have one camera, one 48 megapixel camera, with which you will be able to do a 1 and a 2 times zoom. That's it, nothing else. So this is what you can expect from this phone. There are rumors, but they're very vague and not very precise, that this phone will not have a bottom speaker, only the in-ear phone speaker. So, when you hold your iPhone and you're hearing the music or whatever and it's in stereo, well, they are able to push out loud sound from the earpiece to make it sound like it's a speaker. On the bottom, apparently there's not going to be a speaker. There is only going to be one cutout for the microphone, and that's it. This is going to be so thin, they need all the space to put everything in here. Another thing is that this device will be the one that gets the A19 chip. The normal, regular iPhone 17 will not get the A19 chip, so it'll not be as fast as this phone. As a matter of fact, the iPhone 17 is a super boring update. No design changes, no nothing, no extra cameras. The screen resolution is something. Both in the regular and the Air model, we are going to have 120 Hz displays. And you might think, finally, Apple, finally, thank you. The Pros have had it for a long time, but no, it's not what you think. The Pros have the LTPO displays, which is a variable refresh rate that is able to go down from 120 Hz to 1 Hz. The base model and the Air will only have 120 Hz, so there is no always-on display, there's no variable refresh rate, there is no battery saving in this aspect. So how are Apple going to cope with the battery? As I said, they're planning on launching a battery case and also artificial intelligence or AI for their batteries, their battery management. It'll be somewhat what we are seeing right now, like a power mode, and the phone will be able to tell what kind of processes you're doing, how heavy you're using your phone, turn off background things, background downloads, background animations, background, things that are happening in the background. It'll be able to turn it off to maximize your battery life, and hopefully you will be able to have a full day of battery with this device. In other news, the Pros will have a little bit of an update, nothing significant, a little bit of a design change in terms of the cameras. Now, the camera square is becoming a camera bar, something like a Google Pixel, or vaguely something like a Google Pixel, and that is because it's receiving a new telephoto camera. Yes, we are going to have a 48 megapixel camera, but it will be a downgrade because now our telephoto camera is a 5x optical zoom. In the new iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max, we will have a 3 times optical zoom with a 48 megapixel camera. So if you crop in to 24 megapixels, that will mean that you have a 24 megapixel shot on a 6 times zoom camera. And I think that's how Apple's going to spin it. On an iPhone 17 Pro or Pro Max, you're going to have 0, 5, 1, 2, 3, and 6. These are going to be the lens options that are available to you. And in the back of your head, you will always be thinking, wow, if I'm using the 6 times zoom, I'm actually getting a worse quality photo than with my iPhone 16 Pro Max. Crazy to even think about this. Now, in other news, there is a little bit of a design change for the 17 Pros, as they will be having a new aluminum frame or housing, and they're going away with titanium. Titanium is gone, aluminum is in. The only phone to get titanium is going to be the iPhone 17 Air because it's very light material. I don't know what the difference is between the aluminum or titanium, how heavy or how not heavy these things are, but apparently the Pros will be having aluminum, and because of that, there needs to be a little bit of a cutout on the back of the device, as you can see on these renders, as you can see on these images, and because of that, the charger needs to be placed a little bit lower. Now, the charger is also an interesting thing because apparently we are getting 50-watt charging, so the Qi 2.2 charging on these devices, and they are saying, which I'm not really a big believer of, that we will have reverse charging, so you'll be able to charge other devices with your iPhone. That was never the thing. We've heard this rumor many times before. I don't believe that this is actually going to happen. But If you are interested in more Apple news, then hit the subscribe button, hit that like button if you like the video. And iPhone 17, 17 Air, 17 Pro, and 17 Pro Max coming this year in September, sometime in the middle of September. What do you think? There's the comment section. Hit me down there. Until my next video, stay safe and hang loose.